Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Justin here, and today I want to take everyone through a process of how to spy on your competition and really stay ahead of the competition in every facet of being an Amazon FBA seller. I think it's important that, of course, when you start out and you're trying to find a product that you want to sell, you have to get as much information as possible so you can make the best decision on whether that is the best product versus maybe two, three, or four other products that you're considering. And a lot of times as sellers, we only look at a few points of information. We don't have all the tools that's necessary that will allow us to make a great decision when it comes to selling in a particular category or selling a particular product. So I just want to walk everyone through what I do, exactly how I go about looking at the competition, trying to make decisions on certain products that I want to sell. And then once I'm selling that product, still kind of thinking about what the competition is doing. And so there's a number of things that I do. So I'm going to literally walk you through the process, and we're going to go through the process specifically with this our famous wooden cutting boards that we've talked about quite often in the past. And you can see here that I've actually already went ahead and did the search for wooden cutting boards. And typically, as most people that do competitive research, they'll click on the ad or click on the listing. They'll look at the pictures. They'll say, oh, the pictures look great. Oh, the bullet points look all right. That's great. They'll scroll down. They'll look at all this other information. They'll look at the BSR. Okay, boom. That's one bit of information that I have, which is very helpful. Now, usually I'll do this for a few, and then I'll say, all right, well, let me go back, and then I'll go ahead and I'll pull out Jungle Scout, which is another tool that I use, which will aggregate all of the information for me. And that gives me more insights into the keyword category itself at an aggregate level. And so I can then say here, all right, well, I know that this guy here, his BSR is 8,000 and he's an FBA seller and he has an average review rating of 4. So, this might be some opportunity in this category. I might look at a couple others and say, you know what? This could be a very interesting category to go after. I'm going to go ahead and write this and jot this one down. And so once I've done that, and let's say I've then decided to hone in on a particular competitor, and we're going to just, for the sake of this exercise, we're going to focus on these guys at Premium Bamboo. Typically what I'll do is I'll take their ASIN. And then I'll go to another tool that I use, which is very, very powerful. It's not perfect, but it gives you enough information for you to make a great decision. And it's called CamelCamelCamel.com. Again, that's CamelCamelCamel.com. I will take the ASIN or I'll take the URL of the product. I'll put it in here, and then I'll do my search. And what's great about it is it's not just enough as an Amazon seller and you're doing this competitive research. It's not enough to just look at the snapshot of today. You got to look at the history. And that's what this product does. It looks at the history of that particular ASIN, that particular seller. And so here, what's really great about it is you can look at the history of any product that's on Amazon. It's not perfect, but if you look here, you can see that at one point they were at $22. They went down to 19. They went up all the way up to 30. That's probably a time when they were about to run out of inventory and they wanted to raise their price, and so they figured why not. And then they decided to drop it all the way down to $10 for whatever reason. And so now going through this process, they're now somewhere around an $18 to $20 now at this $19.74 mark. So that's really helpful, but it's even more helpful to be able to see, all right, well, if my price is going through, all these different changes, what sort of impact has that had on the BSR of that particular seller? And so if you go here, then you can really see exactly what's going on in terms of their BSR, their best selling rank. And I don't know what happened here. I wouldn't be surprised if they possibly ran out of inventory or something along those lines. Let's look at this over a 6-month time frame. So you can see here they ran out of inventory. I wouldn't be surprised if they ran out of inventory and then got back in the mix. But because they were doing so well for so long. And what this trend line also tells me is that there has been more sellers of the bamboo cutting boards, the wooden cutting boards, because you kind of see the trend line going downward. So there's probably a little bit more competition. It's either that or the pricing has changed, but there hasn't been that many changes outside of sort of the earlier stages. I know this says all. Let's make this 6 months as well. Yeah, so you can see here that the price over 6 months, it started at about $17. Still pretty stagnant there. Come back and you see that they raised the price all the way up to $21. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little bit of competition and they ran a little bit of inventory, but also they increased the price so much that they scared away a lot of people who may want to potentially buy from them, but decided not to because they saw some other competitors that were better, had some other copy or pictures that might have been more compelling on top of the price. And then, finally they settled in at a number of about $19.74. And that's kind of causing them to be around the 7,000 to 8,000 best-selling rank. So, this tool is very, very powerful. Anytime you're doing product research and you want to look at how a competitor is doing, look at their history, because some of these spikes, even if you see someone that spikes all the way up to a 24, you can kind of tell that was a day that they ran promotions. And the last thing you want to do is base your decision on a time frame in which a competitor ran a promotion for a full week or for 2 weeks for that matter. That's not good data. You want to look at a few competitors, see how they're doing, and then compare the history of what they've done over that period of time. And then the final thing here is you can look at the actual product details. This is important because you can already find this information yourself, but this is something else that I'll look at. And so in addition to that, I also use another tool, Google Trends. I'm sure a number of people have heard of it. It gives you the trend lines of particular keywords. So I'm not just looking at an entire category within within Amazon. I'm also not just looking at the individual product. I'm also looking at the success of some of those individual keywords in Google, because Google is really a good extrapolator of data. You know that if there's a certain level of demand in Google, some of that will probably extrapolate and spill over into what's going on in the world of Amazon. So here we had wooden, let's say not wood, but we'll say wood cutting boards. We'll type that in. It will go out and give me a history of what's going on within that particular category. So I'll look at what's going on over the past 12 months, for example. And you can see here, and this, this always makes sense. It's in the months of September through December when things just go crazy in the product e-commerce community. I mean, people are trying to stock up, they want to get more inventory. But the reason why I look at this is because it's just another point of information for me personally. I'll look at how my competitors are doing, and I'll specifically look at a keyword, and I'll know that that keyword is pretty stable for the most part, and that's what this is telling me. This is a pretty stable keyword, except for in the months of December when Christmas and holiday season is upon us, and you can sell a whole lot of wooden cutting boards potentially. Now, even though wooden cutting boards is a good keyword, you can also look at other keywords as well. So let's say if you want to go for wooden chopping boards, you can look at let's say bamboo. Let's look at that one, bamboo cutting boards. Not much going on there. I don't know why. I think bamboo actually is supposed to get a number of searches, so I don't know why it's not pulling that up. There we go. Wood bamboo cutting board. So you can see that also this gives you a sense of the popularity and the trend line of that particular category as well. So you know that we're looking at this over the past 12 months, but let's look at it from over the past from 2004 to present. And you can see again, it's still pretty consistent, and there's always a spike during the December part of the year. Now, let's say your product is a little bit more seasonal, right? Let's say it's something that's more geared to people in the winter season. You want to know, is that product still going to be successful? And if not, that's something else that will give you a sense of whether I should move forward with that product or not. So I know I'm talking about picking products versus competitive research, but I think this is all encompassing part of the competitive research process, particularly the process that I go through when I'm trying to see, all right, is this a product I even want to go after versus, how are my competitors doing? Are they doing a great job? Is their BSR, spiking, going up and down, or is there a certain level of consistency in their BSR? And then one of the other things that I'll look at is, once you have that whole sense, you got to get a sense of sort of what their best-selling rank is. Then you want to really see, okay, how are they really doing from a sales standpoint? Not just like BSR, but literally how many sales are they getting? And I'll go over here to my other tool, which is AMZ Shark. These guys have a lot of different things within this tool set, including a search rankings tracker. You have a niche scout, so if you want to find a particular category, you can go in there and it'll give you a score. Keyword Explorer allows you to enter an ASIN and it will find some keywords for you, and I use that a lot for creating product listing ads and keyword campaigns, just trying to find new keywords that I can leverage. But Sales Tracker is the one that I use the most. Sales Tracker is what will actually track the sales of a particular ASN. And they use the 999 method, where let's say a seller has less than 1,000 units in their inventory. The tool will go in and earmark how many they have in inventory that day. And then maybe later on, like 4 hours later, they'll do it again, and then they'll do it again. And based on the difference of those two numbers, they'll add that into the total number of sales. Now, that's not always perfect because sometimes, people will, send more inventory to their, to the FBA, to the fulfillment centers. So that can throw things off a little bit, but it still gives you a sense of what someone is doing from a sales standpoint. And so if you come down here, let's say we looked at the best lemon squeezer. For whatever reason, that's not working. Let's come down to, let's see here. Let's see if we can find something that gets okay sales. Let's go here. I know this is Germany. We do some selling overseas as well, but let's take a look at Germany. These guys are getting some okay sales. You can see that they're doing about anywhere from 6 to 10 sales a day, 5 to 10 sales a day, which isn't bad. They're selling this wine aerator for $12.36, which isn't bad. Again, I think their estimations are a little bit low on this one. I think they probably sell a little bit more or do a little bit more in revenues than what's projected here, but that's a good thing. And so for me, I want to look at all this data, take all these points of information into one and say, all right, what's going on over the past week to 2 weeks? I won't make a decision on a product for at least a week to 2 weeks personally until I've done all the research, because once you pick that product and you've put your money down with that supplier, that's it. I mean, yeah, you'll put 30% down and you can wait and then make the decision after the fact. But once you run with it, just run with it. But before you do that, you want to spy on your competition and see what they're doing and trying to get a sense of what you can do to ensure that your sales are going to be there in line, or if not better than what your competitors are doing. You can do this across many different ASINs, many different product categories, many different high-level categories, and you can even do this in different markets. When I say markets, I mean you can do this in Germany, you can do this in Spain, France, Italy, Japan. We also sell in Japan as well. And so this is the overall process, gang. This is what you do to really dive deep into the competitive research process. And these are all the tools that I use. I mean, they're very effective. They're very useful. And this helps me get a sense of, is this the product for me? And if I'm currently selling, am I doing everything that I should be doing, or what are my competitors doing? And can I do something that's better than what they're currently doing? So that's pretty much all I have for today. I just want to walk you through the competitive research process. A lot of information. AMZ Shark is actually a paid tool, but everything else is free. You don't have to pay for it. Google Trends, of course, you don't have to pay. CamelCamelCamel, free of charge. Use those at your disposal, and they're just more points of information to help you make a better decision when you're picking your products, as well as when you're spying on your competition. I hope this has been helpful. I look forward to more comments in the chat box. Talk to you soon.